I never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
President Trump's trade wars affecting America's ports. Container shipment bookings are down nearly 50% from a year ago.
For a large corporate farm, an adjustment period may mean one thing. If you're a small to medium-sized family farmer, it may mean something completely separate.
Top U.S. farm export to China is soybeans. Fox 6's Ashley Sears shows us the impact right here on the Badger State.
I never imagined I could lose this much money this quickly. For big corporate farms, an adjustment period might just mean trimming budgets or shifting resources. But for small and mid-sized family farmers, it can mean losing everything. And right now, across the American heartland, that's exactly what's happening. The trade wars that once felt distant and diplomatic have now come home, hitting hard at America's ports. Container bookings have plummeted nearly 50% compared to last year. And nowhere is the impact clearer than in our number one export to China, soybeans. Fox 6's Ashley Sears investigates the fallout right here in the Badger State, but the story stretches far beyond Wisconsin's borders. Some economic crashes make headlines with sparks, flames, and steel. Others happen silently, acre by acre, contract by contract, until a country built on agriculture finds itself with full silos, parked trucks, and no one left to sell to. This is that kind of crash. There's no fire, but make no mistake, it's burning everything down. As of June 3rd, 2025, American agriculture is facing its most severe export crisis in decades. One by one, international buyers who once relied on the U.S. for grain, meat, soy, and livestock feed are walking away. The headlines tell the story. Sorghum exports down, 94% wheat contracts, canceled soybeans, rotting in silos, beef left without a buyer. And at the center of it all, farmers who feel confused, betrayed, and increasingly desperate. This crisis isn't about a single crop, it's about a system collapsing in real time. Let's start with sorghum. Just last year, China imported 1.4 million metric tons of American sorghum in the first 2 months alone. This year, that number fell to just 78,000, a jaw-dropping 94% plunge. That isn't a market correction, it's a wipeout. For years, sorghum growers across Kansas and Texas operated under a simple model: plant for China, sell to China. But in early 2025, China disappeared from the equation. Tariffs spiked, import licenses were revoked, orders vanished, ships never left port. Today, once profitable sorghum fields have become dead weight. Farmers are trying to adapt, rotating into corn, switching to millet, seeking out ethanol buyers. But none of those options come close to replacing the billions lost through Chinese trade. And sorghum was just the beginning. Across the northern plains, a second storm is gaining strength. In grain terminals across North Dakota, Montana, and the Wheat Belt, exporters are seeing something they've never seen before. More contracts canceled than created. In the week ending May 22nd, U.S. wheat sales were net negative, meaning more deals were torn up than signed. Buyers in the Philippines, South Korea, and even unnamed partners pulled out. Why? Cheaper Russian grain, lower shipping costs from Australia, faster delivery from Eastern Europe. One exporter called it market cannibalism. Everyone's undercutting everyone else. And the U.S., with its high costs and unstable trade policies, is being pushed out. Wheat farmers who planted with contracts already in hand are watching those agreements vanish. Others are stuck holding inventory from last year, praying for a price rebound that may never come. And still, things got worse. In March, China struck back. In retaliation to the latest round of U.S. tariffs, Beijing launched a wave of restrictions disguised as routine measures. They cited pests and contamination, but the message was loud and clear. American agriculture is no longer welcome. In one day, China revoked the soybean import licenses of 3 major U.S. grain exporters, suspended all log imports from the U.S., and slapped 10 to 20% tariffs on over $21 billion worth of American farm goods. Soy, wheat, meat, cotton, all under fire. For soybean farmers, it was catastrophic. China accounts for half of all U.S. soybean exports. Without them, there's no backup plan. Brazil is racing to fill the gap. Argentina is scooping up new buyers. And here in the U.S., soybean prices are collapsing while silos fill to the brim. In Iowa and Illinois, grain elevators are overloaded. Farmers are running out of room, running out of time. But the situation isn't just dire in the fields. In meat processing plants across Nebraska, Georgia, and Wisconsin, red flags are flying. Export licenses to China China, once renewed automatically, are now being left to expire. And as of today, 2/3 of all US meat facilities registered to ship to China could be delisted at any moment. No license, no shipment, no sale. And when you're dealing with perishable goods like beef, pork, and poultry, you can't afford to guess. Port delays are rising. Containers filled with meat are being stalled in Shanghai. Customs inspections are intensifying. Some shipments are being rerouted, others are flat out rejected. Joe Shuley from the US Meat Export Federation didn't mince words. This is dire. The risk involved in shipping right now is unacceptable. For ranchers who barely survived the COVID disruptions of 2020, this is another gut punch. Beef raised for Chinese plates has nowhere else to go. Pork processed for export can't simply flood the US market without crashing prices. Poultry's facing the same cliff. And what about the ports? In Oregon, agricultural exports are down 51%. In Tacoma, down 28%. Los Angeles and Savannah, two key hubs for US meat and grain, are reporting double-digit declines. Even East Coast facilities like Norfolk are seeing reduced traffic. Fewer imports mean fewer containers for exports. That creates a domino effect. No containers, no shipments, no contracts, no cash. It's a chokehold on the entire system. The impact is widespread. In Kansas, a sorghum farmer is storing last year's crop in makeshift bins. The Chinese buyer disappeared. In Montana, a wheat co-op is laying off workers. Too many contracts were canceled. Too few came back. In Iowa, a meat packing plant just canceled its second shift. Orders dried up. In rural Missouri, one soybean farmer summed it up. We're growing food for a world that no longer wants to buy from us. Even the president of the American Farm Bureau, Zippy Duvall, issued a stark warning. For the third year in a row, farmers are losing money on nearly every major crop. With tariffs rising and markets closing, this is a burden many may not survive. But this isn't just a trade war, it's a structural collapse. Back in the 1970s and 80s, the US dominated global agriculture, owning over 80% of the soybean export market. Today, less than 30%. In wheat, we've fallen from 44% to just 11%. American dominance in global agriculture is evaporating. Sure, competition is rising. Brazil now leads in soybeans, Russia in wheat, even Vietnam is scaling up rice and pork exports. But much of the damage is self-inflicted. To buyers, the US looks unstable. Tariffs shift, licenses disappear, policy swings like a pendulum. Why take the risk? And so the consequences cascade. Fertilizer prices are spiking thanks to duties on Canadian imports. Equipment costs are climbing, input loans are harder to secure. Meanwhile, commodity prices keep dropping. Farmers are spending more to grow food and getting less when they sell it. And even if they can sell it, there's no guarantee it'll ship, or that the contract will hold, or that the buyer won't just go elsewhere for cheaper. Federal relief stuck in red tape. Subsidies take months. Insurance doesn't cover trade policy, but every day, the silos grow fuller. Analysts warn we may be heading for a second farm crisis, one that could rival the devastation of the 1980s. Back then, it was debt and inflation. Today, it's collapsing markets and foreign competition, but the results could be the same. Abandoned farms, empty towns, equipment repossessed generational legacies sold at auction, and it doesn't stop with the farmer. Grain haulers, port workers, rural banks, feed mills, even small town clinics, they depend on agricultural exports. When the orders stop, the layoffs begin. When the shipments halt, the money dries up. From the 94% collapse in sorghum to the surge of canceled wheat contracts, from China's sweeping bans on soy, logs, and meat to port delays in Oregon and Savannah, this isn't a warning, this is the collapse. And unless something changes fast, it's only going to get worse. Drop a comment below. What shocked you most about this unfolding farm export crisis?